What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. The usual Wednesday crew, AP, DC, myself, on Wednesdays, as usual. We got a nice big slate, 11 games. I don't like how they're doing these 3 games on Tuesdays, sometimes three on Thursdays too, but I always love these big ones on Mondays and Wednesdays. Excited to dive in and break it down with the two Chiefs guys. They were talking Super Bowl for the Chiefs a little bit ago, pre-show. DC, I'm going to go over to you. You got the Chiefs hat. Chiefs looked good last week. I know you're talking about the Cowboys this week. Big game. Should be fun for DFS too with the monster 55.5 total. Talk football, talk basketball, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, man, excited. Just was happy to see the Chiefs do their thing. We just saw them struggle for so many weeks. Like we were saying pre-show, AP. We never really wavered on this team. I was kind of joking about it. You were even stronger than me, saying this Chiefs team will be back. Looks like they are, and yeah, Sunday should be fun. We were saying like our Chiefs are back, 55 total. Like we're going down with that ship on Sunday, right? With the Chiefs and the Cowboys, AP.
Oh yeah, AP, talk
all
about
in.
it.
Yeah, all in. But of course I am. But it is what it is. Like it's the best game. You're gonna have points on both sides. Like I think. I mean, I think it's just gonna be a great game. And hopefully we get tons of points. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say about that game. I do think the Chiefs are going to win though. Like
what about
something like that.
There'll be plenty of people, despite the high total, that say, it's just, the Chiefs are going to be back to their struggling selves. Like that'll be for sure a take that people have throughout the week. Of course, most people are going to say, yeah, you expect it to go to the moon. But, even when the Chiefs are kind of rolling, like their normal selves, and if we think they are, like, you often see those guys, because they're expensive, come in at 10% owned, 15%. Maybe they'll be 20 or 25. It's not like everybody plays them. You gotta remind yourself of that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely going a lot of ways. Kelsey and Mahomes, they got their swagger back there, saying, and it definitely looks like it. So I'm excited to hear it. AP, any first looks, the first takes on this NBA slate? We got some injuries as usual. Only 2 late games. 9 of them are concentrated 8 p.m. Eastern or before. So any first looks? You've been doing the heat map, of course. So talk to the people about your first looks.
Yeah, interesting slate. So we got 2 games starting at 7 Eastern. The bulk of the games tonight at 7:30. Mapping out the heat map. When you have 5 games all starting at the same time, makes it a little bit more difficult because our organizer for myself, for the members, like to go price, high to low, and then go from there. So yeah, I think it's a fun game, a fun slate. I'm going to be very backloaded tonight. That's all I know from a first look regards.
Cool. DC, any first takeaways for you?
Yeah, I agree with that. That first game, or those first 2 games, Indiana, Detroit, Washington, Charlotte. Like, not that either are bad games at all, right? Like high totals, good players on each side. It's just on this 11-game slate, it doesn't really seem like that's the direction you want to go with so much late news that we're waiting on, so many good value plays late. Do you just want, like, those guys just have, it seems to me, just appropriately priced players in those first 2 games. So it seems, like a Cade Cunningham obviously has massive upside. Maybe you want to start with that in your lineup, something like that, or, a very, very low owned LaMelo Ball because he's overpriced on DraftKings. But obviously he could put up 70, against Washington. So if you want to grab a player or 2, fine, but you don't want to, I don't think, load up on these first two games, right?
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. We got some news. Jimmy Butler banned. They're at 7:30, so we should get. I'm expecting to get that before lock.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard though in the late game. We'll break it all down as we go down. But yeah, 2 games starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. The bulk of them 7:30 Eastern. Only 2 really late ones. So it's a fun slate. I'm very excited for it. Before we dive in though, Paraby, what's going on? Dave Kinder, good afternoon. Chief U, Nades of Phi. Corey, what's going on? Connor, Iron, thank you guys all for hanging out with us. Dave's giving a little winner to the people. He said, anyone playing on Prize Picks, freebie should be very least you should push. John Collins over 1 assist. Yeah, that number, John Collins over 1 assist on Prize Picks. I think that's a very good find, Dave Kinder. Free bet for the people from Dave, and I couldn't agree more. I don't know what that line is doing at one point, but Daryl, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us. And as we the people said, smash the like so we don't have to hear it every 2 minutes. You got that right. I hate saying it every 2 minutes. Of course, 2 minutes, a little exaggeration, but I hate saying it as much as you guys keep hearing it. But hey, it's not hard to do. You guys are already rolling so far, so I'm not even gonna say it right now. I'll give it a little time till it gets a little hurtful. But we appreciate you guys all hanging out with us. It's time for the members never win segment before we get into this big slate. Some big wins yesterday. The 3-game slate treated a lot of people well. The NFL Showdown's been on fire. But starting in NFL, Parabai, who's in chat, $5,000 in NFL. Eddie DT88, $5,000 in NFL Showdown. B Money, $20,000. BBQ winner, $50,000. All those in NFL. Congrats to you four. And then T Rover 6, $67,000 in NBA. I know there was a lot more members never win too, but those are the 5 we highlighted. Congrats to all you guys. Big wins. Again, if you guys want to be in this segment, if you're in the Discord and you have a nice win, put it in the members never win segment or members never win Discord channel. Put it in there, and then you guys can be featured on this as well. But congrats to all of you. It's a big boy 11-game slate, though, so I think we dive right into it. What do you say, DC? You ready?
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I was going to say was it seems like every night, if you scroll to the top of the DraftKings leaderboards, it's like just tons of RPS logos. You know, it's like if I'm having a good night, it's like, you know, the whole crew, it seems like almost every night. There are obviously different directions, you know, people go, but it seems like most nights, at least someone's main cores are crushing, and we get our RPS logos up there. So it's always fun to see.
Hey, DC, how great was Saturday night? I feel like a lot of the industry took the night off or something, and we ended up with the same core, and we just rocked it, and it was literally like super close to the nuts. Like everyone was just leaderboard.
We were in Discord, and we're like, this is easy. This is like these 5 plays are the core. And,
man.
They all went off, I think. So.
Yeah, we like Saturdays, Sundays, people aren't playing NBA. We're always playing NBA. We have 4 cores up like always on Saturdays, on Sundays. The cash chart, heat map, like the content never stops. It's every single day, even if you don't have shows on the weekends. So make sure you join Run Pier if you want to get all the content, all the sports. We have I think it's the last big golf event, but I know there was a show with golf yesterday. I'm going to be in the golf streets a little bit. MMA, NASCAR, all the sports going on. The promo code is RPS Heater 25. Gets you 25% off your first month. No better time to join, as I've been saying with all these sports. But I think it's time to dive in. Like I said, 11 games, 2 that lock at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to go to the first one, the Indiana Pacers, the Detroit Pistons. The Pacers are favored by 6.5, 205.5 over under. I'm going to go right to you, AP. I don't think you're going to be too interested in these first 2 games, but as DC said, Cade Cunningham went off last game, has some ceiling. How are you going to break down these 2 teams?
Yeah, I mean, 206 total, I believe, just pulling up injuries. Yeah, I mean, Chris Duarte is questionable, but that doesn't really do much for me on the Indy side. They're all priced up. Brogdon, 8.4, LeVert, 6.9. Turner, Sabonis. I mean, those guys are going to kind of take from each other. If one of them beats me, they beat me. And then on the Pistons side, like Cunningham, I mean, strong tournament play, but I think his ownership is going to be up there. I think people are going to see what he did against the Kings. Better matchup, in my opinion, especially for a guy with his skill set, tall, hard to guard. When you look at this Pacers team, they have a lot more size, though, than the Kings, in my opinion. So I think they can make it a little bit tough on Cade, who likes that mid-range game. So I'm going to be off of this game. I don't have a problem with Cade, but I'm not going to be playing anyone else, and I probably won't be playing Cade tonight.
Yep, makes sense for sure. It's not a game I'm going to have a lot of pieces of. DC, Cade, I think is the best play in this game as well. Are you going to go to him? Anybody else in this game you're looking at?
Yeah, playing 5 lineups tonight. Maybe we'll play Cade in one, but probably not. And he would be the only guy I would really consider. I do like the Pacers. I think this team could start playing pretty well. I mean, Brogdon, LeVert, Duarte, Sabonis, Miles Turner. That to me is like a pretty strong starting 5. McConnell's a good guy off the bench, and yeah, they're getting healthy. So I expect them to win this game pretty easily. I think they'll slow Pistons and Cade down, and I've got a bet on the Pacers, but really nothing from DFS here.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers, like, you look at that starting 5, and some of the pieces off the bench aren't bad at all.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's a good team, and they could fit together pretty well. So I like them going forward, but
when they're all healthy in DFS, when teams are all healthy like that, it's kind of
Not
hard
the
in the
value.
price right.
I will throw Miles Turner into the mix. He's been playing much better, and getting the minutes. Like, he had so much foul trouble early, but it's kind of gone away. And if the Pacers play as well as I think they're going to play here, those are the games Miles Turner does well in, right? He's defending the hoop well. He's grabbing defensive rebounds, knocking down some open threes, things like that. So maybe a little Miles Turner for me.
Don't you guys think that Rick Carlisle is going to just make, stopping Cade kind of a priority? Like, who else is he afraid of on this Pistons team? So
I think we're all kind of in line here where we think this Pacers play well, but it's just they're just too expensive, kind of.
Yeah, 205.5 over under. Like, it's not a game you definitely want to go overboard. 2 games locking early. So we're all on the same page pretty much. Cade or bust in this game. We're going to go over to the next game, though. The Washington Wizards, the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte's favored by 1, a 220.5 total. Bradley Beal is back, so Washington gets healthier. It's not going to be the Spencer Dinwiddie show and stuff like that. As far as the Charlotte Hornets, they're healthy as well. PJ Washington's the only one they're missing. So 2 pretty healthy teams. Again, not a game I'm very interested in. DC, I'm going to go to you. What do you see in this game?
No one from this game, getting close to my core or anything like that. If I wanted exposure to this game, I think it would be as a game stack, right? Hope it goes absolutely off, because I think this game could get really, really fast paced. You could have a 120 game in the fourth quarter here, and all the stars in this game are going off. But it's just hard to get there from a price perspective on the slate, just because there's so much value later.
AP, do you see it the same way, kind of a stay away, or you see something we don't?
Yeah, stay away from me. And Bradley Beal, no minutes restriction. I believe he had a death in the family, so he just had some stuff he was dealing with. And no injury concerns or anything with him, which is something we always keep an eye on, news and all that stuff. I think better than, maybe a lot of others out there. But we get no price reduction on Beal too, 9.8, so no interest there. The centers have just been smashing the Hornets, like Montrezl Harrell. The problem is him and Gafford are in a complete timeshare. Harrell could smash in like 26 minutes, but it's a huge risk. And we have other plays that are actually cheaper than him, where we know the minutes are going to be just as good. So like, I don't like it, but if he's going to be in my MME pool for sure.
I like it.
Because I think Harrell's a guy that could get you like, man, he in this matchup, if they get running and he's playing good, he could put up a big number in limited time for sure.
It's so frustrating. Like, what was it? A few nights, was it Saturday night when he was just absolutely crushing it, right? And they took him out of the game anyway, and he was just going absolutely off. And it's like, give him the rest of the fourth quarter run when he's crushing that hard, But the time
he played 21 minutes and he put up 38 DK points.
Yeah, he's just absolutely crushing. It's like, and how can you not give him more minutes at that point? You see something like that happen, it's just discouraging for a DFS play,
Yeah, I hate when stuff like that. I mean, because when Montrezl gets the minute, if you told me he was going to play 31 minutes, fantasy point per minute monster. Yeah. The ownership's always there. Just the range of outcomes with minutes with Gafford splitting there too. It is tough. We got Legna in chat. He said grandma narrative. Beal lost his grandma, who was very close to him. Yeah, heartbreaking news for Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, I don't play the narratives as much, but if Bradley Beal went off for 45, 50, like real ones, I think
I'm more likely to play him. No, I didn't know that, but would make me more likely to play him tonight.
Yeah. He's already a stud. He can already put it up, but it's heartbreaking prayers to Bradley Beal. We're looking at Chad. Dave's dropping more prize picks info. K-Fleek Burner. LaMelo is 9K on FanDuel. Yeah, I like looking at the price difference on FanDuel DK. He's 10-7 on DraftKings, which LaMelo is a complete stud, but I don't see myself ever playing 10-7 for LaMelo this year. I would need a lot of injuries to go that way. But 9K on FanDuel, I could sign up for 9K LaMelo for sure. So K-Fleek Burner, 9K FanDuel, 10-7 DraftKings. I always like looking at the price differences on both sides. So good point there. Before we get into the next game, 342 watching, 123 likes. It's all right. It's still very early in the show, but we appreciate if you hit the like and subscribe button for us. Nice 11-game slate, big prize pools. We're going to get on to the next game, though. 7:30 Eastern lock time. The Boston Celtics, the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are favored by 5. We have a 216 total. So Robert Williams is out on Boston. Jaylen Brown's still out on Boston. Al Horford gets a bump, in my opinion, 7.5 on DK, 6.8, I believe, on FanDuel. I like that price over there a little better, but he's a strong play. As far as the Hawks side, Bogdanović is questionable. Kevin Huerter is questionable. If both those guys miss, like a Cam Reddish, I think it's a little more interesting and stuff, but I don't have too much interest in the Hawks if they're both in. I'm going to go to you, AP, though. Break down this game.
Yeah, I mean, Al Horford, like, so they're like resting Bob. I mean, I don't know if it's rest or whatever, but whenever like Horford's out for rest, Bob Williams goes nuts, and whenever Big Bob Williams is out, Horford's numbers look really good. He's averaging right around 1.4 fantasy points per minute. The matchup isn't the easiest, but he's a guy I'm looking at. I'm not a Horford guy at all, but he just seems like he's been so consistent when he's been in this role. So I definitely have some interest in him. I haven't just been super high on this Boston team either, but Tatum, like 10-2, like, I mean, it's an okay price tag, but he's just so you need 30 real points from him because he's just not getting those peripheral stats that we need from a 10K player. He could definitely do it, though. I think he's definitely a tournament consideration. And with these guys out, we should have somewhat of a tight rotation. So Josh Richardson should get in there for some decent minutes. You know, Marcus Smart, fine price tag. Schroeder, you got the little revenge narrative, if that's your thing. So I think these Boston guys are in play, but we have a few situations on the slate where other players are in similar positions, but their price tags are a little bit better. So like I don't think anyone here is a priority. If I had to rank them on the Boston side, I would actually say Al Horford 1, probably Tatum, and then Schroeder and Smart, probably tied there at that third spot. And then I don't with the Hawks side, we need the news there with Bogdan and Huerter both questionable. If both of them were to sit, then yeah, guys like Gallinari, Cam Reddish, John Collins, all those guys would get upgrades, and this game would be a lot more interesting for me.
Yeah, very good points. Yeah, I like Schroeder's price too on DraftKings, 6.5. Coming off a bad game last game. I mean, the pace in that game was absolutely so slow against Cleveland. His usage went down to 19, but if you throw out that game, 30 usage rate in the game before, 34 the game prior, 29, like with Jaylen Brown out, and Robert Williams doesn't matter as much, but Dennis Schroeder has the ball in his hands a ton, and he's not afraid to chuck it, especially if he gets hot. So I'm kind of throwing out that last game. I think it's a good bounce back spot. DC, rank your Celtics, talk about the Hawks and how you're approaching this game.
Yeah, no Hawks for me. I don't really play that many Hawks in general. I don't know if you guys find yourself playing the Hawks dudes much, but I
not really
don't, and that seems to be working out fine. They just don't have that many huge games. It's Horford for me in this game. By far and away, in my opinion, the best play. All the points AP made, I totally agree with. I mean, when Williams doesn't play, Horford's just been smashing. He's at 50 fantasy points per 36 minutes without Jaylen Brown and Williams on the court. And look who he's playing against. They're starting Capella, obviously, and John Collins, one of whom is always on the court. Like, who else is going to play those minutes for the Celtics? The only guy would be Enes Kanter, who they don't want to use. So I think you could get big minutes out of Horford here. And watching him play, like, he's pretty spry right now. I mean, he was like sticking with Mobley and, getting blocks on Mobley attempted dunks and just stuff like that. Like, as the center on this team, they kind of play through him. He looks really good to me right now. And yeah, I really, really like Horford here.
Yeah, Horford definitely very strong play. Dennis Schroeder would be my second. Tatum, as AP said. K-Fleek Burner in chat too. He said Tatum's 9.3 on FanDuel. So another price difference. Tatum at 9.3 without Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams, I think is very strong as well. Marcus Smart wouldn't mind. Josh Richardson's all the way down there too, but we're going to get some value on this slate. So yeah, I think it's a pretty solid game. It's 7:30 Eastern. We're going to get the Jimmy Butler and Bam news. So I don't mind taking a couple pieces from there.
Do you guys know what Horford's projected ownership is? Do you guys have that handy?
I don't have a accurate.
What would be your guess?
I'm thinking around. I think he's going to be more popular on FanDuel with that even cheaper price tag in the power forward position. I would say on DK though, I think he's going to be roughly 20, maybe a little lower than 20 is my guess. AP,
Yeah,
do you have a
15 would have been my guess, which seems not bad.
I'm showing like 7 to 12.
Ooh,
Seven.
that's
Well, you got
Yeah.
Porzingis. You got some other guys in
Yeah.
the spot that are going to command ownership. So
for sure, yeah. But I don't think Porzingis is like a lock to beat Horford here. I mean, Horford's been putting up like 40 to 50 every game in this scenario. So.
Yeah, I mean, 20 probably, it probably might be a little high. It's 11 game slate. So,
Sure.
yeah, on FanDuel, he's definitely going to be more popular. We'll get into the next game, the Orlando Magic, the New York Knicks, 209 total. Knicks are favored by 12. Jalen Suggs is returning, so I can't go back to my boy Cole Anthony, who somehow just keeps crushing. I don't understand what a turnaround this man has made. Miles Bridges, Cole Anthony, could find a couple other names to put on the most improved list for sure. But Jalen Suggs is back. The Orlando team's healthy. The New York Knicks are healthy. Low total, big spread. I think it's a pretty easy cross-off game for myself. DC, how do you see it?
Yeah, total cross-off game for me. But man, yeah, Cole Anthony. What?
He just doesn't.
I've always been kind of a fan, and like, but obviously BigT doesn't. We were talking about it the other day, but yeah, it's been crazy that he's in play at freaking 7,900, like just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time. The ESO plays haven't been as good this year. I'll tell you that firsthand. But Cole Anthony, I got made fun of last time when Jalen Suggs was ruled out. He finally treated me well after who laughed a little bit. But yeah, you can't go there with Jalen Suggs back. Is it a cross-off game for you? 11 game, make it a 10 game AP, or are we missing something?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. The funny thing though is I look at this Cole Anthony every time they're on the slate. I look at the projection; it's always like 33 or something across the industry, and then the guy comes out and puts up 55, 60. I mean, it's just nuts. The projection bros out there absolutely hate Cole Anthony, and honestly, he's got a good matchup tonight against Kimba. Like the Knicks have been terrible defensively. That's why Tibbs benched the whole starting five the other day. And I mean, it's like their second unit has been the group that's like kept them in games. So if you want to get cute, like I don't have a problem with playing Cole Anthony. I like the matchup for him, and he's just been incredible. But he's going to be really low tonight. I'm not going to get there in any of my main teams, but I'm not like crossing them off.
You talked me into wanting to play a Cole Anthony share.
I know.
He just
in that $15 I'm going to look. Well, okay, so like here's the case. Like, look at DeJounte Murray last night. No one played. Like he was like 7 or 8% owned on a 3-game slate, and the dude put up what, the second most fantasy points, and he would have outscored Curry.
Yeah, I mean, I had 100%. He's been so good. Yeah, like some of these guys that are just getting it done. John Morant, Curry, Anthony. Like it's every night with these guys.
Look at LaVine versus Cole Anthony. So it's a good comparison because LaVine is going to be much higher owned, and he's shown no upside. At least Cole Anthony has shown upside on the year. And I think if you're playing large field tournaments, you should be all over players like this, where the ownership projection is going to be very low. You got to just go into it with the mindset that, man, 9 out of 10 times I'm going to bust tonight. But if he has that night, no one's going to be on him. I'm going to be on him. That's the kind of mindset that you have to have.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Just so you can you analyze the NBA slate, it can be so easy to be like, this is going to happen every time. And this just doesn't work that way, right? There is, like, if Cole Anthony, he can go off for 60 fantasy points. He's a triple-double type guy. I mean, look what he's averaging on the year. So when he's playing well, he's pouring in fantasy points, right? These are the types of guys you want to gamble on at low ownership.
Yeah, he's in the Garden too. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm playing him on one lineup.
There we go.
He hasn't played under 30 minutes all year. He hasn't shot less than 10 double-digit shots all year. You look at his usage, 33, 23, 29, 28. He's now he rebounds the ball way better than he ever has in his career. He's getting the assists.
Last game, of all players in the NBA in their last game, Kyle Lowry had 26 potential assists with all the Miami guys out. Second in the NBA is Cole Anthony. He had 21 potential assists in his last game. That's ahead of guys like Chris Paul, Van Vliet, Darren Fox, Harden, all those guys.
Yeah, I mean, Hey, we're not saying go all in and lock in.
Yeah, we got to
probably. we spent a good amount of time on him, but I mean he's definitely up there for most improved. I think he keeps up putting numbers. No one's gonna play him, but yes, definitely we are not advocating a lock button over there for Cole Anthony for sure. But before we get into the next game, 426 watching, 157 likes. It's getting a little hurtful. About 30 minutes into the show, we still got a lot of games left though, but. One little like, one little subscribe goes.
We can get to 200. 200, I think, is a good number.
That was a low ball, DC. Come on, 200. They're usually getting us about 300 on these shows.
All right, we'll bump it up 250 then.
DC doesn't even have the YouTube chat up. He's low balling for the people. He's hey, hit the like, hit the subscribe. 200's a gimme. 250 DC said. 250 should be easy enough. Right. That's a good number. We're gonna get into the next game though. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the Brooklyn Nets. Nets are favored by 9.5. We have a 207 total. And man, these Cleveland Cavaliers, they are battling the injury bug for sure. Mobley now went down. He is out. Jarrett Allen still is out with his illness. Colin Sexton's out. Lauri Markkanen's out. Lamar Stevens, who doesn't matter, is out as well. Kevin Love is returning though. So they get him. He should be starting at center. That's a lot of injuries on this Cleveland side though. Jetty Osman, Dean Wade, who I hate clicking on. It's 11-game slate. So I don't think you need to go to pieces in this game, but you definitely have to talk about it. DC, I'll go to you. Talk about the Cleveland side. And then, I mean, the Nets put up a stinker yesterday. Patty Mills is the one I'm interested in. Yeah. Got the start, has a good price, but break down this game.
I mean, it's a little interesting. The Cavs are just down to their bare bones, like you said. And, you know, who's the highest priced player on their team right now? It's Rubio at like 6,500, I think.
Yeah, Rubio and Garland 65. That's crazy.
So you get to a certain point where it's like the Cavs has actually been playing pretty decent basketball, and like, you know, and the Nets haven't. And this is a letdown game after the Warriors blew them out. And I can see the Cavs going in here and competing with the Nets. And if they do, it's got to be a lot of Rubio, Garland, Chetty Osman. They don't have anybody else. Kevin, you know, like they literally, the other guys on their team just do nothing. So all these big games from Rubio, if the Cavs are going to keep competing, he has to put up these big games. You know, he's like the only guy, him and Garland, that can do it. So I actually do like Rubio and Garland a little bit. If I knew Kevin Love was going to play, if I thought he could play 30 minutes here at 5,300 as a starting center, I'd play him. Look at his fantasy points per minute on the year. They're pretty damn good. So I actually think this game, as a contrarian game, is nice. And then you got you guys like Katie and Harden on the other side if you want to go in that direction. So I like it as a little, you know, could go off game, but not necessarily a game I'm loading up on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, these Cleveland guys have to be in consideration. If your highest priced guys are 6'5",
that's what I'm saying. They have to be. Yeah,
someone's gonna get. Ricky Rubio, ever since the Olympics this summer, like he's carried into this year, and he's been filling it up.
Playing great. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm Jetty Osman 4K. I hate clicking Okoro's name, but like these guys are gonna get run and have to be blowout proof. You think? AP, this is a big spot on the slate with the Cavs. How are you breaking it down? Because it's the first game since Mobley has been ruled out. This will be the first game for the Cavs without Mobley and Jarrett Allen. So there's a lot of unknowns. How are you treating it?
Yeah, a really interesting spot. And so yesterday, content-wise, I was doing the playbook and everything, and we were in Discord, and we were talking about how this Nets team is good defensively. The Warriors are good defensively, both inside the top five. And we saw it on the Warriors side, and we did not see it on the Nets side, but that was more of just Steph doing what Chef Curry does and hitting three-pointers from the logo just all over the court. And it's hard to stop. I'm a little bit worried about this spot. We have so many just what look like free plays here. But, man, with Joe Harris out of this team, this Nets team is usually pretty good defensively, especially against, the perimeter wing players, not so much inside. But against the Cavs, all their bigs are out. So, we're not worried about, them getting buckets in the paint. I worry about a blowout here. I worry about this game getting just, I don't know. Like I'm looking at players like Denzel Valentine, guys who might get some of the blowout run. We're gonna have to hit up K Fallick and chat, get some charts drawn up for us, because I think Ricky Rubio is going to be a very popular play. And look, like I think he's like in cash. I'm not a cash guy, but if I was playing cash tonight, I'd probably consider Rubio. But like outside of that one game against the Knicks, and I know it's not like the same spot as this one, but there have been some similar ones with Colin Sexton out where his usage is there. He hasn't shown like a crazy floor relative to his price at 6.5 on DraftKings. So like, I don't think he's like as a lock. I think he's a fine play, but I'm worried about it. I think Chetty is a good play. He's a guy that always tilts me in these spots. So I'm trying not to overproject him. I don't want to see what the builds look like. Isaac Okoro, he got two statues here, and Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro. He started off last game really good against Boston, and then he just he ghosted us in the second half, and I wasn't on him, but I'm just like a little bit worried about the spot, and I'm not playing anyone on the net side.
Yeah, I mean, Jetty Austin last game, he put up a 43 piece. Like, someone's going to get there for their price on this slate.
Maybe Chetty Osman is the pivot off of Rubio Rubio in particular, because he's still going to come off the bench. So he truly is probably blowout proof, right? If it does go in that direction. And like, they just have no other scoring. He's usually like the third or fourth best scorer whenever he's playing. That's for most of his career. But when on this Cavs team, when he comes in, he's like the first or second best scorer. You know, he's like arguably as good of a scorer as Rubio is, just in terms of like driving to the basket and things like that. So I think Osman almost has to be involved in the offense here. So I do like him a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen these spots with Chetty Osman for a couple of years since he's been on bad teams. Like, when he gets the opportunity and there's injuries and they need him to shoot the ball, he's not afraid to shoot it. So that's enough talk on Chetty Osman, though. Our boy Squid and Chad, Cole Anthony talks getting me 6 to midnight. Quentin, Cole Anthony Stroke Fest, you love it. Junior just built a team with Cole Anthony, highest spend and it's fire. Now we're going to be getting these Chetty Osman comments. Hey,
the only problem is Chetty Osman sucks. This dude, I'm telling you, like, tonight, if you play him, you're not allowed to tilt him. I will auto just mute you. Like, if you tilt this dude, you play him, that's on you.
You might have to mute me, AP. I might be in there tilting.
I might have to mute myself, I'll be honest, because he's a good play tonight for sure.
Yeah. No, Osman, Cole Anthony. Hey, this is why you guys tune in for some Jay Osman and some Cole Anthony talk. Benny G, thank you guys. Thank you for your words. We appreciate it. Talk about loving your heat map, AP. Appreciate the words. Thank you guys for all hanging out with us. It's a great Wednesday. 201 likes, 461 watching. Pretty good. Still got a good amount of games to break down. So hit the like, hit the subscribe. We appreciate it. Our boy Kurt Jones is in chat. Spencer, Matthew Moore. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're going to get into the next game, though. The Los Angeles Lakers, my Milwaukee Bucks, 221.5 total. The Bucks are favored by 9. Chris Middleton's back, so the Bucks are healthy. LeBron's still out. This Lakers team looks really bad right now. I mean, I expect them to get it going. What do you want to take it from here, DC?
I think the Bucks are just going to absolutely blow out the Lakers.
I do too.
Like, no fourth quarter run for like any starter type of blowout. Just trounce them. They're fully healthy. The Lakers suck right now. You know, I think they're at home. Like, send a message here, right? Like,
I think they want to embarrass them.
I think embarrass them. The crowd's going to be going fucking wild, right? When this team's getting out on the break, and I mean, all the Russell Westbrook bricks that Giannis is going to bring down.
ESPN game, right? It has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if this game's not on ESPN, ESPN.
Yeah, they're going to blow them out.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I'm glad you two stepped in, so people aren't going to be saying, "Oh, the title's biased."
Okay, you know what I'm kind of frustrated with is you can't even you need massive games from them to even kill you. They're priced way up. Like, I think it's a sharp fade, but now it's just a square fade because it's like they're $11K. Giannis is 12.5. I mean, ridiculous price tags in my opinion.
I think this is another very easy cross-off game outside of THT. On the Lakers, who's still very cheap. I mean, we saw what he did last game. He's going to start.
The blowout run too, right?
He did, exactly. And he got the blowout run, which, I mean, you always love to see. So I don't see why he wouldn't this game. I mean, it's really hard to predict ball run, especially for starters, but he's young. He's not always in the same role without LeBron. Like, that's the only one I'm considering in this game. DC?
I like him too. I will say oftentimes players get the blowout run if they're playing well, which he was. You know, if the Lakers are just getting trounced here and they pull all the starters and he's not doing anything either by that point, which I think is possible. I could see the Lakers just get their offense just being total shit this game. I wouldn't be certain that he's going to get that blowout run. So he makes me a little bit nervous at 4,800.
That's fair. I think I like him a little more. There's a lot of value on this slate. A lot of ways to go. Yep. Someone in chat, who was it? William McGuire, said Giannis hands down on this. Rod saying Giannis plays 25 minutes here. Yeah, it's not. I'm not touching Giannis. He's too expensive at 12.5. There's a lot of other studs. Like, it's a whole stay away from me outside of THT. Like I said, AP, you see it the same way. What are you doing with THT, or talk about it?
Yeah, I think what you do with him is you just I have a pretty fair projection on him, and if he hits, I'm sure he'll hit a certain percentage of my builds, but I'll probably be like in line with the field on him. Like, I don't think I'm going to be like very overweight on him at all, because if this game gets ugly quick, I don't know.
What percentage? I mean, you said at the field.
Well, I mean, I'm just, if I
20-ish, something like that.
Yeah, right around there. I think he's going to be 35, something like that. 35.
Yeah, he's probably going to.
He's a good play. He's a really good play, but in tournaments, this like balanced build that I'm looking at, I think is pretty nice, and it's going to be how I get different tonight.
If you're jamming in Cole Anthony, Jetty Osman, I'm not sure you're going to need this value at a little THT.
I mean, I might bump up Cole Anthony right now.
So our girl D-Gaz, so she said she was a little confused, AP, with your Osman. So is he a good player or is he not? She was a little confused.
So he's a good play. I'm just, historically, there's been very few players that have just like frustrated me more than him. And my fear with him is he's like one of their only good shooters. I'll give him that. He's a good shooter. They can just, how don't you just like, after that embarrassing loss last night, come out and just embarrass this Cavs team? That's how I see the Nets playing it. Everyone's like, saying KD, actually not everyone, but like saying KD doesn't have enough help and stuff like that. He has plenty of help. He has James Harden. He's got Bruce Brown, good defender. Yeah.
KD, that's way more talented than the Cavs. The talent gap there is pretty massive. You kind of talked me off the Cavs a little bit, AP.
Yeah. So D guys, there's your answer for that. A couple people in chat saying on FanDuel, Giannis is 11-4. People are saying he's a lot more playable. Giannis can put up 50 or can dominate in 3 quarters. Yeah, I mean, Giannis can give you 60 burger in 3 quarters and people wouldn't be shocked. But on an 11-game slate with a lot of other studs, FanDuel, I think he is more in play. But if you are expecting a blowout and if you do think he gets 3 quarters, why would you play Giannis even at 11-4 on 11-game slate if you're only expecting 3 quarters? So I'm a guy that plays Giannis, I think, more than pretty much anybody. He's a DFS monster. But on a slate like this and for this game, it's not a game I'm really going to have Giannis. Appreciate everyone hanging out in chat. We got our boy Joey Work. What's going on, Joey? If you guys haven't checked out the bet side and you guys live in a state where you can bet, or even for DFS, I mean, if they like an over in a game or if they like an under in a game, it definitely correlates with DFS. They've absolutely been crushing it on the bet side, so make sure to check them out. Hope all is going well, Joey Work. We're going to get into the next game, though. 490 Washington, 215 likes. Just hit that little thumbs up for us, guys. We appreciate it. Guys and gals, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe. We appreciate it a lot. We're going to get into the next game. This is the last game that locks at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The Miami Heat, the New Orleans Pelicans. The Heat are favored by 8. It's a 213 total. And this is the big news on the slate. Jimmy Butler's questionable and Bam's questionable. Dwayne Dedmon's also questionable too. Jimmy Butler and Bam sat last game. The 8-point favorites makes me assume that like they're gonna play. I don't have any other lean outside of that 8's kind of a lot. If they were both out. You do get the Pelicans on the other side. They're fairly healthy. I'm just going to throw it right to you, DC. Talk about what the injury news does and how you're approaching it.
Yeah, it's obviously all about the injury news, right? Like, you have no idea
And we should get it. To interrupt, we should get it because it's 7:30 Eastern. So I'm expecting it.
I was maybe hoping we would get it even before we talked about the game because they've been pretty good about getting it out at least somewhat early. But yeah, I mean, listen, if Bam and Jimmy are out again, then yeah, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, Dwayne Dedman if he plays, I assume.
Duncan Robinson too.
Yeah, I mean the whole team, right? I mean that's the whole team. That's all the guys that got left. If Bam and Jimmy are out, those guys are going to do everything. So they are probably going to produce fantasy points at home in a really good matchup, right? Like you don't have to. They'll play well. Those guys will. They're main guys. And if Jimmy and Bam are back in, I don't want anybody. If if Bam is out, I think Dedman is a solid play. Even if I don't really think Jimmy affects Dedman for too much for me. But yeah, if Jimmy's back, then I'm not on Hero, I'm not on Lowry, I'm not on Jimmy himself, and mostly just fade the Heat then.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, if they're all healthy, I don't have as much interest in this game, but we should get this news. I know the NBA tries to get it, so the injury news is at least 30 minutes before the game.
Yeah,
it'd get really interesting if this news pops at 5:58 or 5:59 and stuff. Or 6 at 50, whatever your time at. I'm Central Time, 5:58, 5:59, a couple minutes before lock, but they have been good about getting it out early. AP, talk about, do you have any leans, first of all, about the Butler and Bam, and then talk about if they're in or if they're out?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't have any leans, but if that news comes and if all those guys are out again, we got Tyler Hero, 7.5K. I think that increased price is going to take people off, and I'm gonna plug, like, if that happens, I'm gonna plug like 46, 47 in as my projection and just see if he hits, because he's playing so good, and I don't think he's gonna have any resistance against this Pels team. But the more I think about it, though, the spread here does kind of indicate that man, like, you got to think Jimmy or Bam or all these guys could play. I don't have a firm read on it at all.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Just that.
They will play. There we go. Perfect.
Oh, right on.
Jimmy Butler, yeah, we'll play.
Oh, Bam's out. Bam is out. Jimmy Butler is in. Yep. Thank you, Seabass. Right in chat, Seabass tagging me. I appreciate you in Discord. Yeah, Jimmy Butler will play. Bam is out. So Kyle Lowry's out for a rest too. Jimmy Butler's got to be in play. I mean, I
like Jimmy Butler here.
Dwayne Dedman will play as well. So. I think Dedman at center makes some sense. I think Jimmy Butler now, even at that price tag, without Bam, without Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson at 5-1, I think definitely makes sense. Hero at 7-5 is the interesting one. I still think he's in play now. If any of you guys have, go for it, AP.
Yeah. Just with Dedman, his price is up. So, like, in this matchup is tough.
4K.
I mean, we know he's a guy that often gets into foul trouble. It doesn't take much to get him into foul trouble, and he's got a tough matchup there against Valanciunas. So, like, I'm not going to go crazy with his projection. I like Jimmy Butler. I like Tyler Hero a lot. Hero is like Jimmy Butler's guy,
Jimmy's
and he's going to be passing. Yeah, he's going to be passing him the ball. I think Tyler Hero is a really nice player.
Yeah, I definitely like Hero. I like Jimmy now. Like I said, I think Duncan Robinson's still fine, especially on DraftKings with that 3-point bonus. Yeah, wow. I mean, chat absolutely going crazy now. Great timing indeed, Jake John. Like, D-Gaz saying you got to love NBA DFS. This is why we play NBA DFS. Like, this news just changed the whole slate. And that's why the Up to Lock show is always so important. I think BigT, JSU, Holden is on it today, I believe. And if you're not a member, you want to see that, RPS Heater 25 gets you 25% off your first month. A couple of new people have wondered, how do you see that show? You can either go on the website and go to live shows and do it that way, or if you're in Discord, which if you're a member and you're not in Discord, you're definitely doing it wrong. Make sure to get in. But all shows are posted under media alerts in Discord, so you can find it there as well. They'll be breaking down this news. It just hit, so we're processing it as well.
The more I think about it, like, how isn't Tyler Hero like a guy, like a core play to build around type guy? Like, with what he's doing this season. Like, same with Jimmy Butler. Like, if there's no restrictions on Jimmy Butler, I mean, he could come out and just absolutely smash. It's just I know he's coming out. Was it an ankle injury, or do you know what it was?
Ankle injury. He sprained his ankle, got removed from a game, missed the 3 games. I would assume it's obviously not that serious. It's not like a high ankle sprain if you miss 3 games. If your ankle's good to go, he's not going to go out there on like a bum ankle and play. I would assume Butler. I would assume he's a full blow here. I agree with you guys. I mean, I ran the numbers just to see the season. You take Kyle Lowry off the court, you take Bam Adebayo off the court. Both Butler and Hero around 50 fantasy points per 36 minutes. I would expect them, to play 36 minutes in a good matchup at home here. I think two really strong plays.
Yeah, I just gave them core play consideration tags for the Heat.
Agree, both of them. Yep.
Yeah, because I think people are going to hesitate to do that. I think they're strong plays.
How much is Butler on draft? Oh, 9,400. Wow.
Yeah. Which some people are saying in chat, that's too expensive. I don't think that's too expensive. Without Bam, without Lowry, he's going to handle the ball more. He's always puts up all the peripheral stats. He has triple-double upside. At the end of the day, too, this is a good matchup against the Pelicans.
Yeah,
he's shown more upside than Durant or KD and Harden.
He's went crazy this
year. I mean,
we're gonna have the core plays up, the cast chart, AP's heat map, all that. We just got the news with you guys, but this is how we talk through the stuff. And I'm happy the news broke at the perfect timing. This is how we think about it too. You run the numbers like DC said. You look at the matchups, you look at who's out and who's been playing. So
let's talk just real quick on Dedmon, because he's interesting too now with Bam out, 4K. I have concerns about his ceiling, but with Valanciunas out there, I think they might need him to play a large amount of minutes. If he can stay out of foul trouble, if he's playing well, right? There's a lot of kind of ifs, in my opinion, with Dedmon, but if things are going well and the Heat are playing well, I think this could be a kind of a minute ceiling game for him.
He got 29 minutes last game. So if 4K, 29 minutes.
He could play more than that, what I'm saying. I could see him out there for 33, 34 minutes maybe.
And we don't have Jokic on the slate who is a center spot. We have value on the slate. He definitely is the one I need to look at a little more, but 4K, I definitely have some interest. They're going to need his size. He played 29 minutes.
I think, we can move on, but I think it does make sense to play those Heat guys together, right? I think you want this team playing well. You want them to win this game. If they win this game, it's going to be Hero, Butler, and I think Dedmon probably plays a decent role in that too, I would guess.
Yeah, I rank him Hero, Jimmy Butler, then Duncan, and Dedmon probably there. But Hero and Butler are elite plays. We'll get into the next game, though. Glad that news came up. Look, we got 500 watching, 230 likes. Pretty good. Getting to the number DC said, even though I think we can get a little higher than that. But, hey, hit the like, hit the subscribe for us. We appreciate it. We're going to get into the next game, though. The Houston Rockets, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the first of 2 games that locks at 8 p.m. Eastern. On the Rocket side, Kevin Porter is questionable. Kind of big news. It's not the biggest on the slate, but it definitely matters. Definitely would be usage bumps to guys.
I don't think he made it through shoot around either. So just to throw that out there.
That's true. And I kind of expect him to sit. You don't go through shoot arounds. I don't know. Seems like you're probably not intending on playing in the game, I would guess. So
Jalen Green gets a usage bump. I expect DJ Augustine to slide into the starting lineup. Christian Wood gets a usage bump. I really like Christian Wood in this matchup. OKC small, is an undersized Jeremiah Robinson Earl going to be able to hold Christian Wood down low? I can see an explosion game for a good price tag on both sides too, especially if Kevin Porter's out. I think this game's a little interesting. I'm going to go to UAP, talk about the Rockets and the Thunder.
Yeah. So let's just, talk through this. Let's just say he sits. Does Jalen Green get kind of the Lou Dort treatment? I don't necessarily know who they throw him on. Obviously a really good on-ball defender. Yeah. I just think it's the Christian Wood show here. No matter what happens. OKC has shown no resistance to bigs, especially these kind of mobile bigs, the guys that can shoot threes or get to the hoop in just a couple of steps. So I hope that Wood is lower owned. I hope people pull up that box score, which a lot of people do, and they see, 20, 27, 30, 37, 13. I'm not going to play Christian Wood. Hopefully, what they don't do is look at what he did against them last time they played, because he went absolutely insane. And I think he's going to have a big game here tonight. He's one of my favorite plays on the slate for sure. And I think like if DJ Augustine, if he starts, like he's not someone that I would like necessarily rush to get into my lineups. Like he hasn't shown like a crazy ceiling. I see him like being the type to bring up the ball and then hand it to Christian Wood or one of these other guys, or Jalen Green, who just loves to keep the ball in his hands. And I see him kind of being an afterthought. So like, I'm not going to overreact to that news if it happens.
Yeah. And if you look at Wood's game logs recently, he played in his bad games, 25 minutes, he got you the 20. He played 26 minutes, got you 27. In his 13-point game, he got 23 minutes. So when he gets the minutes, and I don't know exactly, I don't know if those blowout foul trouble, I don't know exactly about those games, but I mean, I'm expecting a normal 30-plus minute game for Christian Wood. Pair by in Chad said they already dropped 60 on this team earlier. It's really the nuts matchup for him, and it would get even a bigger boost without KPJ. As far as the OKC side, I think Josh Giddey is a good play on both sides, even a better play on FanDuel at that price. But 6'2", he rebounds the ball, he gets assists. I think that's a good price, 6'2", and on FanDuel, I think he's like 5'7". He would be my OKC guy. DC, talk about the Rockets, talk about OKC.
Yeah, I like that Christian Wood call. I'll be honest, he wasn't really on my radar coming into the show. I'm guessing you'll get him super low owned. Again, I haven't looked at the ownership projections, but I don't know. Usually the guys that aren't really on my radar coming pretty low owned. So I do like that call. All the things you said make a lot of sense. And then I kind of like the OKC guys a little bit too. Giddey, I think, is a good play. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just too expensive for his role right now in this offense, kind of sharing it with Giddey and the other guys. But two guys that I really like on OKC, Lou Dort, playing pretty well. And then Basley, these guys, good athletes, good defenders. They can get out on the break. And you look at the Rockets, they have the highest pace in the league. They allow the most transition points in the league. They allow the second most blocks and the most steals in the league. Like, they are just getting, players that can jump passing lanes and get out there on the break. Athletes are just crushing the Rockets right now. So kind of like that little Basley, Dort, and Wood mini stack, maybe going back and forth.
Yeah, it's definitely a little game that I have some interest. Hopefully KPJ is out, because I'm already going to be on Christian Wood. I definitely.
I think this game's going to be low owned too. I don't think people are going to go that. Yep.
Yeah, I think. Woods. I don't expect Wood being like 5%, but it's 11 game slate. Like, he's not going to be one of the highest. And someone who is it? Chia in chat said Tate low key. Jayshawn Tate. Yeah, if KPJ's out, I'm a fan of Jayshawn Tate's game. I mean, 5.1K. He'd be very low owned. I would only play him if KPJ's out, but. Yep. I think you could do worse for Jayshawn Tate. So appreciate that comment. Frank, Dort is cheap. Yep, we touched on Dort. So it's a game, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a game that's going to be pretty low owned, that has some pieces, 213.5 or total. OKC only favored by 3, so we're expecting full run on both sides. I think it's a little sneaky game. I agree with you guys. We're going to get into the next game, though, the second game that locks at 8 p.m. Eastern, the Sacramento Kings, DC's Minnesota Timberwolves. Hey, the Timberwolves are favored by 2.5. There you go. A nice over-under at 227. I'll give it right to you. Anthony Edwards, I know you're going to be on him. Towns. I like D. Russ's price tag, even though I never get the man right. But break down this game.
Those are the three guys. I mean, I think all three guys are in play. None of them are my favorite plays today, just because I think they're kind of appropriately priced, right? You're not getting a discount on any of those guys. Towns' ceiling has been not that high this year, right? He hasn't had very many 55, 60-plus point fantasy games. With a 10.4, that's what you need. And so he could do it, right? Great matchup against the Kings. He's at home. All that stuff is great. But I just have a hard time seeing him go 60-plus, which is I kind of think you need that on this slate at that price tag. Edwards, my favorite play among the three. I'm with you. Russell is solid. I think all three are just good plays, that if you're playing a lot of limes to mix in, but these guys aren't like the first guys in my lineup by any means tonight.
Yeah. As far as the king side, Metu is starting at the power forward. He's 3.8K. I think there's some value. You can go there. If you want to go Mangold's boy, Patrick Beverly, I'm not going to do it personally, but there's some value in this
Yeah.
game too. AP, who is your favorite king? Are you just going to fade them all together and then talk about this Minnesota set?
Yeah, I mean, the pace here is going to be great, but I agree with what DC said. They're all appropriately priced, except for Medu. Like this dude is a nice fantasy point per minute guy. He's earned a role in the starting lineup. Kind of shining, outshining Marvin Bagley, who's who knows what's up with that guy. But there's that game that they had where Luke Walton was telling him to go in and he refused to go in. He played 17 minutes last game. So, I mean, who knows? Hopefully that guy gets going because, I mean, there was times where he was good. I just think he was a liability defense.
He's got to get to a new team. Walton,
yeah.
It's the contracts too. Like, I'm not abandoning the Bagley ship, but can't play him on the Kings for sure.
Yeah, what was that? They could have had Luka. They could have had Trey, right?
Yeah.
And they took
it was that draft, I think. Yeah, they really messed that one up.
So even Fox, kind of a tougher matchup here. Like Pat Bev is just, I hate just playing guys against him because he's just so frustrating. And but yeah, I don't have any problems with a D'Lo one-off, Anthony Edwards one-off. Like we saw Anthony Edwards have that monster game when everyone was healthy. So it can happen. I don't think any of those guys are going to find themselves into my lineups. And the one thing is, man, if you look at Rashawn Holmes has struggled against Cat. Like this match, I don't think anytime he's ever played him, it's been really bad. I'm talking under 20 fantasy points bad. And the sample size is pretty large there. So I'm definitely going to be off him. So for me, it's probably Meto. I think and then Halliburton maybe 5'9" isn't a terrible price tag. With everyone healthy, I worry about the upside though. I worry about his ceiling. Just because that guard rotation, Davion Mitchell gets minutes, Buddy Hield comes in and chucks, and they'll let him run if he's hitting shots. They'll pull him if he's not. So, on the Wolves side, out of all the big three there, it is Towns. Bigs have been crushing the Kings. Towns is going to be very low owned. I think the last 6 times he's played the Kings, he's put up 55 plus each time. So I think it would be Towns would be the guy that I like there.
Yeah. So yeah, I loved playing Tyrese last year. He's one of my favorite players. He's from Oshkosh, which is where I went to school. But now with Davion Mitchell in the equation, they're just so stacked to the guard position, like you're saying, where Fox is really the only one I've really played because he still has that upside, can get there. But now it's so loaded back there. There's a couple injuries later in the year or something, then Tyrese, Davion Mitchell or stuff I would target. As far as Towns, Anthony Edwards, D Russ, I can definitely see one of them getting there. I'm not sure which one. I always lean Anthony Edwards now. I just think the guy is a complete stud. But Towns can absolutely get there, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Unless you're going full game stack there, which I mean, you're hoping for an overtime at that point. I would only play one of Towns, Edwards, and D'Lo, right? I think all three are good plays, but pick one, I would say, in any given lineup.
Yeah, because of their prices too.
Exactly.
Games and 11 game slate. Very good points there. We're going to get into the next game. We got 2 games left, the 10 p.m. Eastern games. 257 watching, 558 likes. This is my last time I'm going to ask for the likes. I'm not going to check it until after the last 2. Try and get close to 300. I think 300 is very viable. We're not going to keep the plays from you or anything like that, but surprise me. I think 300 is very viable.
You're not going to be like Hoop? I love that. I love that bit. Hoop just lays out the hammer.
I can't do that. I don't have the heart like Hoop. I can't lay it down like that. But hey, hit the like, hit the subscribe for you. We appreciate it. You'll get the plays. 2 games left though. First one, 10 p.m. Eastern, Dallas Mavericks, the Phoenix Suns. The Suns are favored by 8.5. The total is 212.5. People might be wondering why the Suns are favored by 8.5. Well, that's because Luka is out. His first game that he's out, Maxi Kleber is out as well. Very big news, obviously, with Luka out. Porzingis, very good play. Jalen Brunson slides into the starting lineup. Very elite play. Tim Hardaway at 5.3K is going to continue to chuck. Reggie Bullock, that's not someone I really want to go to, but he's way down there at 3K, should be getting around 30 minutes. It's a Porzingis, it's a Brunson, it's a Hardaways for me. I have a lot of interest in all 3. Luka's such a big part of that team. I'm going to go over to you, DC, talk about what this Luka does for you and anybody on Phoenix you're running it back with.
Yeah, Dallas reminds me a little bit of the Heat tonight. Kind of a similar situation, right? You lose a couple of big guys out of your lineup, Lowry and Adebayo for the Heat, and then obviously for the Mavericks, it's Luka, right? Who does as much as those guys. He just does so much for this team. Brunson, he's been good to us. We were playing him back when he was super cheap. He's had a breakout season, gets the starting role here. I think he'll crush. The matchup is kind of tough against the Suns and CP3, but I just think he's ready to go. Hardaway, I think, has to play a big role in the offense, right? Like whether he makes his shots or not, that's kind of hard to say, but I'll be surprised if he doesn't get him, right? I think Hardaway's getting up 15 plus shots here. And then Porzingis, I don't love playing Porzingis, especially when he's chalk, but if Dallas is going to play well and compete in this game, he's got to have a big game too, I think, right? He's got a big usage. He's going to have to play a lot of center and collect boards, and his ceiling's really high. And then, the Sun side, they're much less interesting to me just because of their prices. But one guy I do like is DeAndre Ayton, 6,200, got, 33, 34 minutes in his first game back, 33 minutes.
Yep, 33, yep.
So he's a full go, and Dallas pretty weak inside, right? Like even against Porzingis, I would expect Ayton to kind of clean up on the boards a little bit. So I like him quite a bit.
Yeah, this is a game that I'm good eating the chalk with the Jalen Brunson, with the Tim Hardaway, with the KP. I like that call with Ayton on the way back. 6.2K, the minutes were there his first game back. He could have his way with KP down low. Definitely has the physical strength advantage. Yeah. KP's long. And then vice versa. KP on that pick and roll. He pops or pick and pop. Yep. He pops the 3-point line. Ayton might struggle getting out there. So, yeah, it's a low total. The Suns do play solid defense, but the prices just aren't fully adjusted without Luka. I'm eating the chalk. AP in tournaments, are you going to be eating this Dallas chalk? Anybody on Phoenix you're looking at?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see because, I'm looking at maybe older ownership projections that were
I think that they all got to update now with the Miami news.
So, I think you're going to see some of these plays that were chalk kind of, ownership come off a little bit. And so, I would. So the Mavs have only gotten blown out, I think, once this year. They're just not a team that gets blown out. And I would be more concerned about that if Porzingis was coming into this game struggling. He's not, man. He's been incredible. Shout out again to Glock. He noticed something, I think it was last week, and was talking to me about it and in his content and the playbook and everything. And Porzingis has just been smashing, especially when they roll him out into the 5 and they go more of a smaller lineup outside of him, which they could still do tonight. So I have a ton of interest in Porzingis. I think he's a phenomenal play tonight. Just see so much momentum coming, and as long as he stays aggressive, I think he's going to be fine. Tim Hardaway, Brunson, all guys that, gosh, whenever Luka's out, this is like their opportunity to get the ball to score, to do things. You know what I mean? Like when Luka's in there, it's the Luka show. So you got to love these guys. I think all three are really good plays. And then I think what you do, you just run it back with Ayton. I think Ayton is a guy at 6'2". These bigs have been destroying the Mavs. And honestly, if they're running Porzingis at the 5, it's Ayton's going to kind of have his way. So it makes for a nice little game stack. I'm not on Booker or CP3. Their price tag's right around 9K, just a little bit, they've shown upside at that price, but it's just, gosh, I just feel like they could take from each other. And it just feels too risky when we have so many other options on the slate.
That's 3 for 3. Yeah, the big 3 on Dallas we all like. Brunson, Hardaway, Porzingis, and then Ayton on the way back. So 3 for 3, all locks up on this game. Gonna go. And to be clear, those 4 aren't locks that you just have the first 4 in your lineup. I think the Dallas side is definitely more of a priority than Ayton, but Ayton, the price, the ownership is going to be crazy. That is our favorite run back for sure in that game. We're going to get into the last game, though, 10 p.m. Eastern, Chicago Bulls, the Portland Trail Blazers. Portland is 1.5-point favorites, a 219.5 total. Vooch is still out on the Chicago Bulls side. And then we have big news on this Portland side. Damian Lillard is questionable. He was questionable last game, and he did play. Norman Powell also is questionable. If both of those guys were out, CJ McCollum would be a stone cold lock if you have the spots for him. Robert Covington would get a boost. Anthony Simons, Nasir Little would start sliding in the starting lineup. So, I mean, we're not going to get this news. I highly doubt before the 8 p.m. Eastern games. I don't think it's a necessity that you have to backload your lineups with the news that we've already got. And if they're both in, but if they're both out, Portland side definitely makes some sense. As far as the Bulls, I love DeRozan, 8.9K. The price is finally starting to get up there, but it's still DeMar DeRozan. This is a whole new year from what we've seen previously. He's taken over games. Vooch is still out, so he gets more of a bump there. Caruso at 4.3 is starting. Lonzo put on in LA, 6.5K. He's coming off a monster game. There's some pieces in this game, and it's supposed to stay close with a decent total. So I have some interest. I'll go back to you, AP. Break it down.
Yeah, I mean, this sets up to be a potential hammer spot where with all the elite plays that we've already discussed, I think there's a good chance that especially the Blazers side is going to be very low owned. I mean, Dame Lillard played 40-plus minutes against the Raptors, took 21 shots. It looks like he's starting maybe to return to form. He made half of his three-point attempts. Man, like the one thing about the Bulls is this team, they look good defensively. I mean, they're just fast, like Caruso, Ball, Levine, DeRozan, just four speedy guys. And it makes guarding that perimeter a little bit easier. And what happens too is you run off these big guys. Like, I don't see how Nurkic stays on the floor tonight. Like, I'm definitely not playing him. I hope people get like enticed by that 6.4K price tag, but I just don't see how he plays many minutes tonight because they'll take advantage of him. You'll get a ton of mid-range looks from DeRozan, Levine, and then, Ball kind of just does his thing. So I have a ton of interest in this game. I'm going to go right back to Lonzo Ball. He looked phenomenal against the Lakers, obviously. Triple-double upside, could definitely get it here tonight. And then it's like, man, we talked about Levine. He just hasn't shown the upside relative to his price. Like, he's a floor play. He's not a ceiling type play. And that's because of Lonzo Ball. That's because of DeMar DeRozan. Even DeRozan, almost at 9K, like, he feels like more of kind of that floor type play. Like, he feels like he's safe to get you 45 tonight, which if that's what you're looking for at 8-9, then by all means, he's not a bad play at all. So for me, it's Lonzo Ball. He's kind of that main guy I'm looking at because 6'5" feels too light. And then, man, if you want to run it back with like a Dame hammer, I think that's going to be extremely low owned tonight. Because if you're listening to this right now, you're like, oh, I'm not going to Dame. He sucked. He hasn't shown anything. I think he's starting to look a little bit better. That shot is starting to look a little bit crisper. The assists, the usage, the peripherals are starting to come back. And he played 40 minutes. I mean, if he was hurt, like, would he really play 40 minutes against the Raptors, another good defensive team? So, yeah, I think it's a really interesting kind of late game hammer spot for sure.
Yeah, I think you made a couple good points. First, Dame is 9.3 on DraftKings. He's only 8.2 on FanDuel still. I think that makes a lot of sense over there. And then you mentioned about Nurkic possibly getting ran off the court. I mean, we just saw the Bulls last game go with Derrick Jones Jr. at the 5. They went small ball, even against Anthony Davis. They played a lot of help defense. Derrick Jones plays above the rim, very athletic. They could double him. They could rotate fast. I wouldn't be surprised to see another small ball Derrick Jones Jr. lineup at the 5, which worked really well for them. And then Nurkic, there's no chance he can play against Derrick Jones at the 5. So I think that's a good point. I'm not going to be touching Nurkic. Tony Bradley at 3.3, like, he got 27 minutes. He's cheap, viable, I guess. But, man, I don't want to go to a 3-3 Tony Bradley who can't even get over 20 points so far. So I'm mainly focusing on the studs. DeRozan would be my favorite personally. DC, how do you see this game?
Yeah, Tony Bradley's a fade for me. I don't like these, like, the athletic bigs that don't
Robert Williams of the world and stuff like that.
The guys that don't shoot threes, right? They can't step out and drain some threes for you. Those are the guys that I just don't like to play. But anyway, I think, kind of a fun game stack here, especially if the news somehow broke your way. So if you wanted to, reserve one lineup for that, I wouldn't hate it. DeRozan, my favorite play, but I get what AP's saying, where I don't feel like his ceiling is quite as high and his price is getting up there where it's like, even if he had,
back-to-back 50 bombs, and he got pulled.
Yeah.
If the game was close, he was on his pace for 60.
I like him.
He's a good play. I'll say he's a good play.
I get the ceiling stuff with him.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Caruso, are you looking at all?
I mean,
Lonzo? Or...
The one thing though, like, man, you like back-to-back 35 plus points. Like, you just like, I know he's consistent. And he did it. He did. So he 37, but then that third game, 25, 40 points. So like, this is a type of slate where like 40, 39, 40 DK points for a 9K guy. Like, I think that could, I think you want more. That's all I'm saying.
He does get a significant bump with Vucevic. If Vucevic was playing in this game, I would have no interest whatsoever.
Yeah. Like we said earlier in the season for the Bulls, like someone has to be injured for us really to target. It's a lot of eye tests for me too. Like DeRozan just looks as good as he has. But yeah, I agree. The price is now coming up. I don't expect the ownership to be too much. So
don't you think Bobby Covington, it's finally a good matchup for him? Like, don't you think and people have been questioning kind of his motivation out there and stuff. Like, I don't know. Lonzo, I think definitely has the best matchup though. I don't know if you guys would agree or not on that.
I think this whole game, like, I'm not afraid of Portland's defense at all. Yeah, I think Lonzo, great matchup. I think anyone pretty Levine. I like DeRozan. I think this game is a whole.
That's why I like it for a game stack. I mean, this could go back and forth as a late night hammer. It's just hard for me to single out one play that I think is the best. I think they're all like pretty good plays.
Yes. So if you want to wait for this news, because it could break your way and then you'd really want it.
Yeah.
Just have a plan going in. The last two games, the Dallas Mavericks and the Suns, which we already have interest in that game. Then this Bulls trail. Two good games that you could have a lot of positional flexibility with your lineup. So definitely have plans on how to attack that news. That's going to do it. That's 11 games. We got through them all. Let's see the likes. 296 right there. You guys did it for us. Not the quite 300. I think you guys can make a quick push before we go out, but about 300. We appreciate your guys' support. It's about time for the plays of the day, though. I'm going to go to myself first because I'm not taking any risk that this one's going to be taken. I'm going to go the SO play of the day. I'm going to go with Christian Wood. I really, see, I knew it. I had a feeling. I love Christian Wood. He's not going to be in the single digits or anything like that, but he's not going to be one of the highest owned players. I really like the price. I really like his upside. I think this is one of the best matchups he can get. So give me Christian Wood as the SO play of the day. AP, since I took yours, I'll go over to you with the gentleman's call of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna play off of the news that we got during the show because if you're listening to this and you want to get better at NBA DFS, you got to watch the news. You got to kind of understand how lineups are going to look. I'm going to go Jimmy Butler. I like that small forward position to kind of spend up there, and I'm going to work under the assumption that, man, if they're bringing them back here and they feel fine resting Kyle Lowry, my assumption and how I'm interpreting that news, unless they tell us they're going to limit his minutes, which we haven't gotten that at all, I'm going to interpret that as like he's fine. He's good to go. He's going to play his normal allotment of minutes. And if that were the case, and if he had been playing his normal role, and let's just say the scenario was Bam and then Lowry got ruled out, what's Jimmy Butler going to be on the slate? He's going to be like 35% owned. So I'm going to go Jimmy Butler. I think he's a smash play at 9-4.
Really like that call. We got news too. Tyler Hero will be starting for Lowry. Denman will be starting for Bam too. So definitely like that Miami game. DC, to wrap it up, Mom's Basement play of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, love the Butler call, and I think Tyler Hero is just as good of a play. So I'll move somewhere else, but I was going to choose one of those two guys too. Wasn't sure which one, AP, before you took Butler. I'm going back to the beginning of the show. Talked a lot about Al Horford. I like what I've seen out of him recently. He is absolutely smashed when Robert Williams has been off the court, along with Jaylen Brown. I think he's going to have to be out there for maximum minutes against two bigs in Capella and John Collins, neither of whom I think are I think Horford is kind of like a better player sort of than both those guys. I think he can win those matchups on both ends of the court. So I expect a big game with Al Horford getting out there for 33, 35 center minutes in a matchup that I really like.
I like all three for sure. Yeah, Jimmy Butler, Christian Wood, Al Horford, the three plays of the day. That's going to do it for us, though. We got the Up to Lock show coming up. I believe Holden, JSU, Big T. You're not going to want to miss that. If you're not a member, you want to be a member and see that. The Core Plays Cash Chart Heat Map RPS Heater 25 gets you 25% off your first month. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. You guys absolutely crushed the likes. We appreciate it. Good mojo rolling into this Wednesday. Expect to see a lot of RPS logos up at top. That's going to do it for us, though. AP, DC, Simon Behind the Sticks. I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.